Hey friends, how's it going? Got another album review for you. This is a pretty fun project. It's honestly one of my favorite albums that I've gotten recently ish. It's been a bit. So, if you know the Barbie movie came out in 2023, you either love it or hate it, whatever. No matter what you think, the actual album, the soundtrack is honestly my favorite part of that whole thing. I love the movie, but it's not perfect, but I did like it a lot. And honestly, I would recommend the album over the film, but it's whatever. It's supposed to be a companion, but regardless, I did have a great time listening to this. I've listened to it a good few times. And yeah, I'll share my thoughts with you today. I'm going to consider it pretty perfect. The only con, and we'll get to it, is one track. And honestly, they took off a track. I think on the vinyl they have the Barbie Dreams with 50/50. For some reason on the CD they don't have it on there. So that's a little interesting. Whatever. So we'll talk about the physical, album first. The actual thing that you get, and it's pretty nice. I do like it a lot. It's got the '90s Barbie font. I believe I could be wrong, but yeah, it's got like the Margot poster. This is based off of the promotional posters that were on. I think they were on Reddit, and then they were on the Mattel website. And a cool thing that you could do was you could actually put yourself in these posters, and that was kind of fun. Really cool posters, like Will Ferrell got one, Dua Lipa got one, Gosling got one. So there was a lot of great. Just it was just all the actors in their costumes, and then they had them photographed with these cool fonts and stuff, and really nice. So this is based on that. Margot doesn't wear this outfit very much, but it's cool to see, and I like this whole like case. It's very '90s. You got the Barbie Land. I think this is from the set, like a photo from the actual set, which is kind of cool. Or no, this is from the film. This is the beginning. So there's the track list. We'll get to that later. I'll talk about the booklet, as we always do, as that makes a lot of noise. So this booklet, it's okay. It's not my favorite. I prefer my booklets to have either photos or like the artist in them or like lyrics or I don't know. This one's a little lacking. You can see the photo there. And there's a note from Gerwig and Baumbach and also a note from Mark Ronson, who's the producer. He's the one who got all these artists together in the first place. Pretty awesome that we got a star-studded lineup of artists. But yeah, it's just song credits, like various Barbie like related stuff in the background. It's okay. It's I would have preferred photos or definitely like the actors posing or something more like Barbie themed. I don't know. It's just okay. But I like the pink for sure. The pink fits. And I like the blue as well. Like this teal is nice. And yeah, I actually like to switch my covers and I keep it like this, but it just depends. You can have it like that. But yeah, this is how you're supposed to do it, but it doesn't really matter. Just a nice little booklet. Could have been better, but it's fine. Doesn't bother me as it doesn't want to go back in. Okay, there. Here's the disc. Disc is nice. It's very, very 90s. It's got the Barbie sounds on there. Very, very Mattel. Very cool. I like this look a lot. And yeah, it plays really nicely. No scratches, no audio, cutouts or anything. Really nice. And then it shows another Margot picture. So I think this was like a promotional picture from the set. So that's cool. I like when they do that. Like when you take the disc out, you see this little surprise picture. It's kind of a fun thing. And that's it for the presentation. Otherwise, you can just see like her waving to all the other Barbies, I'm assuming, on the back of this CD. So you can see just the big Barbie Land set. It's just massive. It's ridiculous how big this is. It's just a giant toy, right? But yes, it's great. Really nice. I like the sets a lot. It's probably one of the best parts of the film. And we'll get started with the track listing. There's 16 tracks. They're technically supposed to be 17 with that Barbie Dreams song. So if you got the vinyl, you'll get that. If you just get the CD, you'll just get the 16, which is fine. I would have preferred Barbie Dreams to be on here because I like that a lot. I'll just tell you my quick thoughts on it. Love the song. It's super hyper. It's honestly pretty great in my opinion. And it should have been on here. But yeah. So number one is Pink by Lizzo. This is a lot of these you'll notice are disco themed, which is fair because there's a big disco number in this. We'll get to that. And I'm a big fan of disco pop, and there's a lot of it on here. So if you like disco pop, this has a lot. It's a lot of it, and it's great. And yeah, we start off with Lizzo, Pink. This one's great. This track is really, honestly, these first two tracks play really well into the film. There's actually quite a bit of them that play directly into the movie. So this starts out the film, and it's really just Lizzo narrating Barbie's like her morning, and it's really silly. Like she's just mentioning this pink world and waving to her girls and playing chess by the pool, and she's like, pink, it goes with everything, right? And I agree. That's like one of my favorite colors. I think red is still my favorite, but pink is like right up there. And yeah, it's good enough to drink, she says, and it's really funny. She's like, if you wear a dress or a suit, either way, I like your style. And it's really nice. There's a couple of really funny parts, in particular when she mentions pink and she like spells it out, and it's really funny. And then at the very end, she says, "Hey, Midge," and then she's like, "Never mind." And it's Midge is a running joke in this film, which is funny. So, yes, great track. I love the disco vibes, and it has a little bit of an R&B feel too. Like it's kind of a mix of both. And Lizzo's a great singer. I'm not really that into her stuff, but I do really like this track. I think it adds a lot of nice sound to this album. I think it starts the album off really well for sure. And there's actually, I'm gonna be honest, I think the Bad Day version of this song is better than this one. They're pretty similar, but I think the Bad Day is definitely funnier. So yeah, both great tracks, and I like them. I like them a lot. And then the second one is definitely my favorite, Dance the Night with Dua Lipa. She's my favorite artist, so kind of biased, but this is such a great track. It plays during the dance party at the Dream House. It's super silly, and the video is really great for this too. And this is definitely her sound from future nostalgia. There's people that said that this is almost the end of that era, where after this song she did Radical Optimism. She kind of switched her gear, and I'm a little sad about that, but I like that album as well. And yeah, this is pretty much the end of the future nostalgia sound. So it's the same disco pop dance style from that album. And it's pretty similar. It's essentially she's talking about dancing, turning the rhythm up. She got diamonds under her eyes. And I love the part, especially when she says, "Don't you want to just come along for the ride?" And it's really, really nice. It's almost, she's like self aware about it, and she says she's looking her best, and the chorus is like watching her dance the night away, and she says her heart could be burning but she can't see it on her face. And honestly, the song is really just about dancing and being happy, and that's it. There's not much else to it, so I really like it. Great track. This is my favorite on the album because I love the sound and I love the lyrics, and it just has an amazing vibe. It's very dancey, but the song has a little bit of a sadness to it. But yeah, if you look in the lyrics, it's a little bit different. But yeah, it's really nice, really amazing. Just I had no complaints, and I love it a lot. I mean, I'm kind of biased because it sounds like future nostalgia, but it I mean, you could see it as that or a new sound. So yeah, pretty awesome. And she is in the film too, not very much, but she's there, so that's a plus. And yeah, pretty great. Fantastic song. And then the next one would be, it's like almost a favorite. Like it's not in my top five just because it's short. So number three is Barbie World, and this is the big anthem. This is Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice. I'm not really into these two, but they sound amazing on this. I don't know what happened with this, but it sounds so good. It's really silly. There's just a bunch of Barbie references like Jazzy, Stacy, Nikki, Rodeo Drive, Madison Avenue, dream houses, Ferraris, playhouses. There's even like an Olive Garden reference for whatever reason, and it's really funny, and it's really dumb. So yeah, it's a something. It's a trap rap song, so it's very different from the other ones that we just heard, the first two. So it's not disco, but it is very heavy on the trap, and I like that. It's kind of cool. It's like a bad song, like not. It's like a bad anthem, if you know what I mean. The bad girl anthem. So yeah, if Barbie went like emo punk, this is probably what she would sound like. And there's actually a sample, well, kind of. It's Barbie Girl, the original track with Aqua. It's kind of in the background. You kind of have to hear it. You'll hear it at the very end because this song is really short. It's only like a minute and 20 seconds, something like that. It's really short. But at the very end, you'll hear Aqua. So they're credited, even though it's not their song. It's sampling that one. So yeah, really nice, really great. It's not my favorite, but it's just on the edge. So if I had a top 10, it would be number 6. So yeah, great track. No complaints. Next one is Speed Drive by Charlie XCX. This is definitely the fastest song on here. This is definitely her sound. This is hyper pop, dance pop for sure. And I like Charlie's work. I like some of the ones I've heard. And this one is one of my favorites for sure. This one is really simple lyrically. Is she just talking about, going out with Barbie, like having a night out or whatever, and like dancing, and she's the inspiration for her, and she dressed in really cute clothes. And she mentions like places like Kauai and Tokyo, and she loves her. And it's nice. It plays a really big part in a chase scene, the Mattel HQ silly chase scene. It's so good. And it fits that really well. It's just a great song. Unfortunately, it is short as well. It's only like a minute and 30 seconds, so yeah, it goes quick, but it is really nice, and I really love this. It's got great, decent lyrics, and there's actually a sample. It's a Mickey by Tony Basil, so that's kind of nice. There's a couple samples in these tracks, but yeah, not this one, but yeah, just some of these have samples. Great song. I like her lyrics. I like the way she sings. She has an English accent, so it's kind of interesting. And I like the instrumental. It's very, in your face, very bassy and poppy. Really great. Really mine. And then next up is Carol G's Watati. And this is actually a reggae Spanish track. And it features Aldo Ranks. I'm not going to say much on this just because it's in Spanish, so I can't really tell you that much about it. I know it has like club. I know clubbing is a part of it, and obviously love is a part of that. But I mean, I can't really speak much on the lyrics because I don't speak Spanish. But it is very nice. I do like it a lot. I love the reggae tone, the beat. It's super different from all these other ones. These other ones have been pretty disco pop heavy. This is not that. This is one of the most different tracks, which I like that it's something different, something unique, and I love the way it flows. It's really great. I also love the video too. And yeah, great track. I like Aldo Ranks as well. He kind of comes in towards the end, and pretty solid, pretty great. Not a favorite, but it is really solid. I like it a lot. Next up is Man I Am by Sam Smith. This is a very silly song, one of several on this album. This is kind of the Ken anthem before we actually get to the Ken anthem. So I'm not really a fan of Sam Smith. Their work doesn't really interest me that much, but I do like this a lot. It's very silly. It's synth disco. It's very disco. And he's essentially talking about this is like an anthem for the guys, the boys, with all your heavy metal toys, being so beefed up, like, jacked and strong. And he mentions like Batman to the rescue, and it's super silly. He's singing about like being the groove catcher and the hottest thing, the six pack, and he's not gay, but he's on that lay low, and it's so stupid, but it works. They mention like pop stars and exotic pills and cars and dirty deals. It's super silly, and he's it mentions that he's gonna be like super sleazy. There's no Ken without Barbie. There's no woman that could stop me. It's so dumb, but it works a lot, and I like it a lot. They have a pretty great voice on this track, honestly, and it's pretty different. I do like it a lot for sure. Not a favorite, but it is pretty great. So I'm a big fan of that one. Number 7 is Journey to the Real World. This is another short one. This is by Tame Impala. And this one's not really a song, I guess you could say it is. It's really just a interlude between the Barbie land and the real world. It's like between the worlds. So you're going from the toy world to the real world. It's okay. It's pretty decent. I do like it. The only reason I say it's okay is because it's really short. It's a minute and 28. So yeah, it's synth pop. It's in Tame Impala's wheelhouse. So if you like his sound, he's on here. It's short though. So that's another complaint. Really, he's singing about, there's the future is a mystery, and he's wondering what they'll see when they get to the real world. So it plays when Barbie and Ken are going from both worlds, and it's that montage. Pretty great montage. They did practical effects, really nice, and I like the track. It's just short. I wish it was longer, but pretty solid. I like it a lot. I love the sound. In fact, it's very synth heavy, poppy, great 80s vibe. So love that one. And this is next up is the actual Ken anthem. This was funny enough. This was not supposed to be in the film, but Ryan Gosling felt so strongly about singing it that Greta's like, "Hey, if you want to sing it, go ahead." And she gave him permission, and here we are. So I'm just Ken, Ryan Gosling. Pretty phenomenal song. I don't have much to say. It's a glam rock pop ballad masterpiece, honestly. There's nothing I have to complain about. It goes in hard. Honestly, it's probably the hardest song on here. It just goes for it. It starts off as a ballad about Ken having feelings for Barbie. He feels strongly about her. He wants her to love him. And then it goes into this gigantic epic rock ballad with these 80s guitars. It's so clean. It sounds so sharp. All of these instruments are so fantastic. And if you want to know something even cooler, there's a bunch of guest guitarists that from different bands that they've gotten for this one song, and it's so freaking awesome. One of the best tracks on here for sure, unbelievably awesome. I definitely felt the Kenergy. I feel it every time I listen to this. It's a banger, bro. It's so good. It plays directly to the film. It has a lot of funny lines like "I'm just Ken and I'm enough and I'm great at doing stuff," and is it my destiny to live a life of blonde fragility? And can she see the man behind the tan? And he's got feelings that he can't explain. It's so freaking good. I love this. This is definitely a favorite. It's like probably my second favorite. Just because it's so unique. There's so many different genres. It goes from ballad to rock, back to pop to ballad. It's so amazing. So I love this track. Fantastic. And the scene in the movie is fantastic as well. And next up is it goes from, rock and then it goes to this like acoustic indie ballad by Dominic Fike, Hey Blondie. This one's great. It's very chill. It has almost this Beastie Boys, Beach Boys, a Beatles type of feel. It's very slow. It's almost like a slow jam. There's not much instrumental wise. It's he's essentially talking about a blondie. It could be Ken, it could be Barbie, it could be someone else. He's just mentioning he has a love that's blonde, and he's mentioning that they're so perfect. He gets weak every Monday morning, and yeah, he mentions baby girl, so I'm guessing it's a girl, and it could be Barbie, probably is. But yeah, it's pretty decent. I like this one a lot. It grew on me for sure. It's a grower. It's one that's like underrated. So yeah, pretty nice. And then next up is Home by Haim. This is similar to Hey Blondie. It's indie soft type of track. And Haim, I believe, is three sisters. And this one's decent. It's about, home as a symphony, and they're mentioning that it's bittersweet, and they hold it inside their heart. And she wants them to take someone to take them home. So, yeah, it's pretty decent. I like it. It's definitely not a favorite, but it is great. I do like the sound of it. And then next up is the one of the big ones. This is What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish. This is a very it's I can't really say much about it because everyone else has. It's a piano ballad. It's beautiful. It's very gorgeous to listen to. Like just her voice alone. The instrumental is fine. It's just a piano by Phineas, but the actual lyrics are pretty sad because she's talking about being just a toy that you paid for, and it's not really there's not much to feel. And she's mentioning that she's sad again and don't tell her boyfriend. And I'm not sure, if this is meant to be Barbie, realizing she's a toy, or I'm not really sure. But it's a great song. It's just not one that I come back to just because it's pretty sad and also it's not poppy enough for me. But yeah, decent track. Or no, it's not decent. It's great, but it's not one that I come back to. It's amazing. I just don't, it's not my type of sound, but it is a gorgeous song and it definitely deserves the award that it got. So, yes, for sure one of the big ones. And it plays in the movie really well. The scene is really amazing, for sure. And next up is the one that I don't like. This is Kid Leroy's Forever and Again. I'm sorry, I hate this track. It's terrible. I cannot stand this track. I've tried to like it, okay? I've tried. I've tried at least 4 or 5 times. I just, it doesn't, first of all, it doesn't fit the Barbie film. It doesn't fit anything. There's no disco, there's no pop, there's no ballad, there's no, it just doesn't fit. The sound is not, it doesn't fit this project. It feels out of place among all these disco ballads and rock and pop songs. It doesn't, I don't know. I just don't like the sound. And I'm not really a fan of the Kid Leroy either. I'm not too familiar with him, so that doesn't help. And I skip it. Honestly, if I could pull 50/50's Barbie Dreams and put it here instead of this, I would. I would switch them because I can't. I don't like it. Moving on. Number 13 is Silver Platter by Khalid. We're bringing it back to the disco. It has some R&B elements as well, so this is in Khalid's sound. So if you're a fan of him, this is his sound, and I like his voice a lot. And this is a great track. This is amazing. I love the instrumental. It's very disco. It's R&B with disco vibes. So great, great. It just sounds really pleasant, and I love his voice. He has a very soulful voice. He's very powerful voice, and essentially he's mentioning his lover. Would you give me a wave? He's fighting for her affection, and she's giving him the impressions that we'd be in Malibu speeding soon, and he wants her to give him the chance to prove that he can give her the world on a silver platter. So, pretty simple, lyric wise, but it works really well for the film and it also works just as a love song because it's really what it is. It's like a R&B love song with disco vibes. So, fantastic track. It's amazing. I love his vocals. I also love the production. It's really hitting. It's a banger. I just wish it was more early in the track list for sure. You kind of have to wait for it, and it's pretty much a gem. I definitely recommend this one. And then next up is Angel by Pink Panthers. This is like bubblegum pop. This one's pretty nice. I do like it. Pink Panthers has an English accent, I believe, and her voice it's definitely a voice that I haven't heard before. It's a different type of voice, so definitely unique in that department. She talks about Johnny a lot in this song. I don't know who Johnny is, so yeah, but yeah, it's a nice song. She's just essentially wanting Johnny back because no one is as romantic as him, and she knows all the details for tomorrow, just some of the lyrics, and then she mentions that one day her baby just went away, her angel Johnny. I don't know who this Johnny is, but he sounds kind of trash. But whatever. I like it. It's nice. I like the angel. It's great. It's a nice song. I do like it. Not a favorite. It's pretty underrated for sure, and it's a decent track. I do like it. It's a fun one, even if it's not much lyrically. But yes, it's a nice one for sure. I just don't go back to it too much, but it's solid. And then next up is one that I hated. I hated this track at first because it's a rock song, and this is Butterflies by Gale. This one does have a sample. It's actually Butterfly by Crazy Town. It's supposed to be a remake, I believe. I don't think it's a direct sample, but it's a remake or a redo of that one. And the reason why I hated it is because it starts off, it kind of tricks you because it starts off as this slow jam and then she says, no, like this. And then it just goes bam into these rock drums and it's insane. and I love it. I love it now. Like I used to hate it. I'm like, oh, this stupid song. No, I actually love this now. It's so in your face, but somehow it works for me. And I'm not really a fan of Gail's work. Like I'm not too familiar with her, but she sings really well on this. I like her voice. I like her production. I like the way she phrases certain things. She's essentially talking about like this lover is a butterfly in her daisy. That might be like a raunchy thing. I'm not sure, but she mentions like over criticizing, always villainizing, looking for the one way monologue, and then later on she's like looking for the clickbait dialogue, which is pretty funny because it's referencing the movie, but it is just a funny line. Actually, there's a lot of funny lines in this, and I love the part where the chorus like mentions sugar crazy. It's so like hyper, but it's really punky. It has a it's really funny. Like if you look at it, it's not meant to be taken seriously. Not a lot of these songs are meant to be serious, okay? They're really silly, a lot of them. And that's it. I mean, the movie is pretty silly in of itself. So, yeah. It's amazing song. Definitely one of my favorites because it's different. It's really unique. It's kind of underrated, and it's very punk rock heavy. Definitely would recommend you listen to this. I love the drums. I love how hard she goes on the chorus and the choir, and I like the way she like screams the lyrics. It's like it's a very rebellious anthem, and it fits the movie. It fits the project, I think, and it just fits her sound. So I'm a big fan of this one for sure. And then last up for this version is "Choose Your Fighter" by Ava Max. This one's dope. I love Ava Max. Like in general, her songs, like her vibe, and this I'm kind of biased, but I love this one. And this one plays at a great part in the film where they're dressed as cowboys in the real world, and they start to run away. It's pretty funny, and this is definitely in her vibe. This is dance pop, electro pop. This is synth Euro pop. So this is in Ava Max's normal sound. So if you love her, this is it. She's on here, and she does a great job. I love the lyrics where she mentions being a lover or a fighter, and she mentions that life is like a runway, and she can help you solve the riddle. And I also like the hot pink or black line. That's pretty fun. And I also like when she says, "Do you want to call the shots?" And it's great. I love this track. I love the beat in the background, and I also love her vocals. It's very fitting for her, and I'm glad that she got a chance to be on here, for sure. And it's just a really nice song. I come back to it pretty often, just because I think it's really nice to listen to. It's also an anthem of sorts, like kind of an empowerment anthem, a little bit. But her music is kind of empowering for women, so I mean it fits her. So, yeah. And great song to end the album. I mean, obviously, I would have preferred if Barbie Dreams were on here, but you know what? I think there was like a lawsuit with 50-50 or something like that. I think that's why some of these don't have that. But yeah, great song, amazing, definitely a favorite of mine for sure. And that's it. That's all that's all the tracks. 16 tracks, pretty good. You know, I would say this is almost a perfect album for me. I would just take out the Forever and Again. Get that out of here. Put in the trash. It's not good, okay? If you like it, fine. But yeah. Top five, definitely Dance the Night. That's my favorite. Then I'm Just Ken. And then Butterflies, Choose Your Fighter, and then Speed Drive. So I could switch Speed Drive and Choose Your Fighter. They could flip flop. But yeah, all of them are fantastic tracks. Again, some of them, like, you know, Journey to the Real World and Speed Drive are pretty short. Same with Barbie World. I wish those were a bit longer, for sure. Like, they could have added a little bit more to them, like a minute longer. But, you know, regardless, it's a pretty awesome project. I'm a big fan of a lot of these tracks. Not a lot of these artists, but I do follow a good bit of them, especially Dua. But I think this is an amazing project. Honestly, I would recommend this over the film. Not because the movie's bad, I just think you would like this a little bit better because it's a little bit more musically diverse. My favorite part of this album is the fact that it's so different. It has all these different artists coming on with their different sounds, and it kind of just blends together really well. Like, you don't even have to watch the Barbie movie to love this album. You can just watch, you know, listen to the album on its own, You know, that's what I did before the movie. So I'm a big fan of this album. I would probably give it a 9 because of that Kid Leroy. If he weren't on here, honestly, if anyone else, like literally anyone else, were on this, except for him, like even Troye Sivan, like anyone else. So if take that out, it would be a 10. But you know, it's on here, so it's gonna be a 9. But a 9 out of 10 is, I mean, it's a 9 out of 10. So it's not bad at all, right? So yes, lovely soundtrack, lovely sounds. I love all of these different sounds. And some of these will grow on you, you know? Like the butterflies, you know, like the journey to the real world, home. So some of these, they grow on you. You know, you listen to them, you're like, "Oh, I don't know if I like this." And then you keep listening. It's like, okay, I'm kind of digging this. So yeah, big fan of the movie, and I'm an even bigger fan of this album. So I when I recommend it, absolutely. Even if you don't want to see the film, you don't have to. You know, doesn't have to be just for the movie. So let me know what your favorite track is on here. I'd be surprised. Um, but yeah, just let me know what your favorite one is, and also who's your favorite artist on here, and who do you think they could have gotten? You know, they have gotten someone else as well. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you for the next one.